this construction noise.
Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. Today is July the 14th, 2017, or at least it still is on the East Coast of the United States. But I'm coming from Perth, Australia today, and we have a very, very special This Week in Bitcoin show that is going to revolve around Australia because we have 3 guests from Australia. It's all Australia this week. So I am totally pumped, more so pumped than I usually am. So we've got, I'm going to introduce everyone real quick and let them introduce themselves. We've got Julia Buchholz down here in Perth. We've got Martin Davidson over in Melbourne, and we have Adrian Bellotti over in Sydney. Real quick, I just want everyone to just tell me what they do and you know who they work for. Julia, what are you all about?
Yes, hi everyone. So I'm pretty involved in the Bitcoin community here in Perth. We do a lot of workshops and we do a lot of meetup groups. I have myself a community which is called Coin Spotters. So we're always watching out what's happening in the market, and we're trying to educate the industry about that. We are providing people in WA with Bitcoin. So we're sellers and buyers. And we're talking to businesses who are interested in starting ICOs, and we are helping them basically to get them started and connecting with the right people who can do that for them.
All right. So that is very exciting. I want everyone, remember, we're going to give everybody's important links below. I've already put some links, but we're going to, the guests will give me even more links to list below. So always check out the link section below, everyone. Always pound that like button because this is a very special show. And remember, you can also get awesome t-shirts below with discount codes and your Trezor and all of that good stuff. So let's move on real quick to a quick summary of who is Adriana. Tell us what's going on real quick with you. Over there in Sydney.
I just came back from Hong Kong. We were at Rise conference, which is a huge startup conference that happens, I think, every year. I'm not sure if it's every year in Hong Kong, but it was pretty good. I'm working with Veredictum, which is a company that is trying to solve online piracy with a blockchain component. So it's a pretty big challenge.
Now, real quick, we're going to move on to Martin over in Melbourne. Tell us what you do and what's going on with Bitcoin and you and cryptocurrency.
Okay, cool. Okay, nice one. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm Martin, and I'm the CEO and Global Director of Blockchain Centers. So we opened the co-working space here in November 2014, and we're the epicenter knowledge hub for Bitcoin and blockchain technology in Australia. And so we've got like a large community here, have lots of community groups, have some incubated business here. So basically just involved with the community. And I also work with Blockchain Global, which is a Bitcoin mining company. And they do corporate consulting, and we also do investment into startups as well. So quite a few things, and quite actively involved in the blockchain community here in Australia.
Awesome. Well, I want to say again, Martin is in Melbourne, which is in the East Coast. So I want everyone just to back a lot of North Americans and Europeans watching this right now. Adriana is you're in Sydney, which is also on the East Coast. But Julia is here. I'm going to actually meet her tomorrow, I guess. There's going to be a big meetup here in Perth, here on the West Coast tomorrow. The link is below. I hope I can meet everyone there. And of course, we were trying to get a guest from Brisbane. I'm pronouncing it right. But we weren't able to do that. But I will be in Brisbane starting on Monday for 2 weeks. And I know I'm going to meet a lot of people out there. So Martin, we're going to start with the questions right now. Real America, the big ecosystem, I guess I'm involved with there. This segregated witness that is about to happen, the scaling issue, the bit 148, all of the terminologies are being spouted out every single day. People are paranoid. People are worried. You can see the prices dropping today because there's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. During my travels, when I was actually in Hong Kong, I felt people weren't too worried there, that it seemed to be us North Americans that were really worried. What's the feel you are getting here in Australia in terms of segregated witness and just the scaling issue? Are people thinking about it, or just do people want to get their hands on cryptocurrencies, or are people just blinded by ICO madness and don't even care about Bitcoin anymore?
Okay, well, there's a few questions there, Adam. So people are interested in cryptocurrency. Definitely, there's more and more interest as time goes on. We're finding that more and more people are coming to our community meetup groups and our workshops and wanting to know more about what we do. But like, I mean, with regards to the Segwit and the 148, and yeah, I'm I'm kind of over it personally. But like, I mean, I think like the safest path to market, which is kind of tends to be like the core implementation up until now. That's kind of, personally, I think that's the safest route with the Segwit implementation. Kind of, I think it's been said by a few people in the space already, but there's been previous attempts to kind of change the protocol with the Bitcoin XT, Bitcoin Classic, BIP 101, and you know, they've kind of they haven't sort of gained traction. So I think, although it's going to be I think it will be market uncertainty and the price will be quite choppy over the next few weeks, which is not unusual for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But I think, yeah, the safest implementation will eventually be implemented, and I think it will be a bit of a non-event. So yeah, so I think people should just be aware of what they need to do to protect their private keys, protect their Bitcoin, keep them in a cold wallet. And there's lots of tutorials online to how to go about doing that. Don't leave your cryptocurrency or Bitcoin on an exchange, just basic best practice, common sense. And yeah, just hodl, as the meme goes.
All right, so that I like that relaxed attitude. Again, I'm getting this relaxed vibe from outside of North America. So on that note, I'd like everyone to pound that like button if you like relaxed vibe. But Martin, since we're all relaxed now, can you wanted to show everyone around real quick where you are? I mean, so the world sees, I mean, what's going on in Australia.
Yeah, great, nice one. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I won't take too much time. So as I said, we opened this space in November 2014, and during that time, we've kind of done quite a lot of renovations to it. So I'll give a quick tour of the blockchain center here. So we'll just, in we go. So this is the blockchain center, which is focused on education, co-working, and community events. And we've got some sponsors such as IBM, Blockchain Global. So if we go through here, this is the IBM room, our IBM meeting room. And here we've got the Satoshi white paper. So we've created like an enlarged sort of art educational installation of the white paper there, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So if any of your viewers today haven't read the white paper, then that's mandatory reading. You really want to make sure you read that. Here's some of our friends and supporters. Here's Airbits, which is based over in California. They're really good guys. We've hosted Paul here a few times. Brave New Coin, undoubtedly the best kind of research and analysis. They've got some awesome reference papers on Bitcoin, and they have like a really good applications for developers. Here's the Blockchain Association of Australia. So it's a leading advocacy group in Australia, and Adriana's actually was on the board there. And this is the co-working space. So we've got like quite a big space here. You can see. Let's Get Paid in Bitcoin, which is run by a guy called Adam Poulton. He's the president of the Bitcoin Association, Blockchain Association Australia. Sorry. So that allows you to get a portion of your salary in Bitcoin. Here's one of our co-workers. This is Hong, and he's a biohacker. That's why he's wearing his blue blocker glasses there. So people come in here on this weekend sometimes as well. So here we've got Satoshi's refreshment bar here. So this is some graffiti artist that was done by a local artist called Macatron. So that's really cool, and you can see there some artwork there. We'll just run through here. I'll show you some more artwork. So if you can see up here, we've got some more artwork there on the ceiling there.
Wow.
Here's an ideation space here, and like a place where people hang out, and there's this couch there. And then I'll just run through this way here. So as far as we know, this is the world's only Bitcoin mining museum, where we've got old versions of the technology and the hardware here. So there's an Antminer S5. We've also got a full node connected down here as well. I don't know if you can see that. Doing our bits for the
What are you running on that full node there? What's going on there?
Okay, so that's basically, it's a Raspberry Pi.
All right.
Here we've got like the proof of work, so an excerpt from the white paper there. Proof of work, how the Bitcoin network reaches consensus. Here we've got more blockchain artwork.
You're a user-activated soft fork guy, right? You're user-activated soft fork.
I guess so. Not need to kind of toe the political line here. We've got a podcast studio called Crypto Studios. And here's our event space here. So we have like events here up to about 60 people.
So can anyone visit? Can any, if I'm in town, I can just come stop by and say hello. I visit. You never know what viewers here might be coming from all over and want to say hi. So
absolutely, that's the whole point of our center. Is basically it's a knowledge hub, and a co-working space and a community place. So this is ACX.io, which is Australia's largest Bitcoin exchange. And so the development team are actually based here. And we've also got a games room as well here.
Well, so this looks like it's straight out of Silicon Valley here. I mean, I'm sure everyone is, we've never had something like this on This Week in Bitcoin before. So this is very special to have a tour and to see. I mean, yeah, it's awesome.
So this is we've got the color table here in Bitcoin orange, which is kind of cool. There's a Bitcoin sign. This is a weekly newsletter, curated newsletter by a guy called Alan Sen. So Alan's based in Melbourne here. He's the CEO of FinTech Victoria. And basically he sends out like a curated kind of summary of the latest news in Bitcoin. It's called The Week in Bitcoin, quite a popular title that is, obviously. But like I recommend anyone sort of sign up to his newsletter, The Week in Bitcoin. Really, really good quality writing. And then there's a Colombian Bitcoin exchange called DAEXS, which is basically licensing the software from ACX.
All right.
So there's quite a lot of business activity going on here, and yeah, we've tried to make it a really cool space. So I'll jump into the podcast studio, and yeah, so I'll hand over to the rest of the panel. Thanks.
All right, Mark, that was really awesome, and I'm glad you've got a podcast studio. I wish I could visit during my trip. I didn't plan this perfectly. I've been to Melbourne before, but I have to return and do a show from your studio because, hey, man, we like high quality video on this channel apparently. So, all right, Adriana, can you top that? I'm not going to ask for a tour or anything like that. I'm going to ask you a question going back to the first question that I asked Martin, actually, to get back on topic. What is your feeling about the scaling debate? Are you getting are people panicking down there in Sydney? You have a good feel of, all over Australia due to what you do. So what is your feeling on the scaling debate right now?
I think we have so many new people coming to Bitcoin every week. Every meetup that we have, there's more new people and they really don't know anything about it. And we're just trying to educate them and sort of stay a little bit away from it, because ultimately this is an issue that's going to resolve itself. And we, the geeks who have been at it for a long time, tend to discuss it a little bit more. Some of us more than others. But I think generally speaking, the community, the new community that's growing it's not really up to it yet, or will ever be.
Okay, so this is good. Again, a relaxed atmosphere, and people, there's so many newbies, they just don't even know. And I like that. And I think it will resolve itself. I wanted a follow-up question, I guess, is the Australian government has, I guess, liberalized their stance on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Has this brought the newbies in? What has brought the newbies in lately?
The price, I guess. When the price go up, attendance goes up.
Oh, okay. That's logic right there. All right. Now we're going to move over to Western Australia in Perth. And Julia, I want to know, you're dealing with a lot of new people too, I think, from what I've gathered. And we're going to get into some of the specifics of what you do and everything. But do people even know these technical terms? Do they care? And have you seen an increase in interest lately?
So yeah, so first of all, they have no understand what people are talking about. All they see is what's happening on social media. And what's happening on social media is mainly just marketing from Roger Ver against the Segwit. And this is basically, people are just following the herd, basically, and they're just making panic for something where they don't have to panic. But they don't understand that. They're just following people because, yeah, that's just the best marketing basically works. So personally, I'm quite relaxed about the whole situation, and most people here are as well. Some say, yeah, okay, let's bring it to your hardware wallet, let's just save it offline, just make sure, you never know what happens. But I mean, it's even like emails from any like online businesses, and they're saying like, oh, be prepared for the big hard fork on the 1st of August. There is not going to be a hard fork on the 1st of August. That's maybe coming later, but that's not even a decision yet. So there's like a lot of people freaking out and all of that. But the community here is more, especially the newbies, they don't know about it. So they're quite relaxed. They're basically like, oh, the Bitcoin price dropped. That's great. So I could get in now because it's going to go up in a couple of months or a couple of weeks. We will see. What was the other question?
Well, so have you seen an increase in new people lately? Yeah. Because what I've gathered all over the world in the last 2 or 3 months, there's been an increase in interest in Bitcoin. Yeah. And from what I gather with you, I guess a follow-up question to that also, has there been an increase? And what is up with the ICO situation there? Do people want to get into that, or is it too complex? Because I saw in some of our emails, or when I was researching you a little bit, and I think you even mentioned it, that you mentioned ICOs. So elaborate on all that, I guess.
So yes, definitely a higher demand, because I mean, from the 1st of July, Australia removed tax on Bitcoin, which means before that, if someone provided like an ATM machine or something in Australia and people purchased Bitcoin, then they had to pay GST on that. So, or like for Bitcoin businesses who wanted to buy Bitcoin, they had to pay GST. Like we had a double taxation on Bitcoin basically. So that got removed by the Australian tax office, and they said we are treating Bitcoin like money from 1st July on. So when people hear something like that, that gives a lot of confidence. And they're like, oh, this is really special now. It's not only like more value than gold, it's now even the government is treating it like money, like that gives it like more trust. So that was something I felt like a lot of people who said, like just a couple of months before, yeah, now we're staying away, we don't even know what it is. But then when they hear that, they were like, yeah, okay, we're going to get started. We're going to start using Bitcoin as well. Let's see what's happening. And of course, they also like thought that there's going to be a big price increase or value increase in Bitcoin from July on, which then didn't happen because of the whole like trouble we're having right now, and the updates that are coming. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, the Bitcoin price in Australia is still higher than in US right now, or like what you can see in the exchanges, which is different as well, because I remember in March this year, we bought like a bunch of Bitcoin, and we do a Bitcoin arbitrage. And we bought really cheap in Australia, and we put them on the US exchanges, and we made from every Bitcoin we bought, we made, just from buying it, more than $100 US. Like today, that's impossible. Now the Bitcoin in Australia is more expensive. So
wow.
it kind of changed.
This is you're giving us some good inside information here. So is the you didn't. I want to hear if people are going crazy over ICOs there, though.
Yeah. So that's another thing to mention. So our Bitcoin meetups here in Perth, let's say also like 3 months ago, we were running a Bitcoin meetup about a hardware wallet, or about a new ICO, for example, or something like that. We had maybe like 20 people joining. Okay, so we are basically three different organizers here in Perth, and we all have our different Bitcoin groups, but we all work together. So like just a couple of months ago, there were like maybe 20 people coming per meetup, maybe 30 when we were lucky. These days, we get these meetups are getting sponsored by Woodside and the big mining companies who are supporting new technologies, because we have to outsource our people to get like the big places, like on Thursday, the meetup was in the Woodside Auditorium, for example. So Woodside said, okay, we're going to sponsor it. Because we have so many people, there's almost 100 people coming.
That's amazing.
So we went from 20 people to 100 people, basically. For the ICO, there's the people who are already advanced in this industry. Okay, so that's not even the entrance level.
This is very good. So we've got some advanced people here in Perth also. Adriana, what is your feeling on these ICOs? Has it been popping up in the news over there? And what do you think about them? Is it sustainable?
ICOs are everywhere. I think my personal opinion is proceed with caution. Do your homework. Make sure you're investing in something that's real. The company I work for is doing an ICO next month. So I have to say I'm for ICOs. But it's really about the project, I guess, and what they want to accomplish. There are a few out there that have been scams, and it's really important to, when you have especially noobs coming on board that wants to learn about ICO, I always tell them, just please be careful. Be sure that you're investing in something that's going to be there for you and it's going to give you a return.
Yeah. Yeah, there are so many scams out there. And have you seen here in Australia and in Crete, since the Bitcoin, I guess the Bitcoin price has not gone up as fast as obviously ICOs or certain altcoins. Is there a specific altcoin that you see an interest in from the general Australian population, or do they mostly care about Bitcoin, or is there an altcoin, another cryptocurrency that they care about also?
I think Ethereum, of course. Monero, it's one that usually pops up. In Hong Kong, I met the guys from Superior Coin last week. They seem to be getting a lot of traction as well. I've heard them more on the news than on the meetups just yet, but I guess it's a slow process for everybody. There are so many coins that it's really difficult to understand sometimes what's going on there. Yeah. And with the ICOs, there's ever going to be more coins and more coins. And as long as they are intrinsic to whatever the company is trying to do, I think it's fine. It will bring value to the investors.
Yes. Martin, I'm going to hand it off to you. What's your feeling on ICOs? Is Ethereum making the news over there also? And are there any altcoins that you hear about a lot?
Yeah, sure. So we've been running I run a Bitcoin blockchain 101 workshop once a month, have done for the last couple of years now. And then we also run a monthly Ethereum introduction to Ethereum workshop, which is run by a guy called Tom Nash. So he's a front-end developer for a organization called We Trust, which did an ICO just a couple of months ago, actually, maybe 3-4 months ago. So their platform is based around the idea of lending circles, so using smart contracts to finance loans for people that are otherwise unable to get loans from traditional companies. So there's a lot of interest in Ethereum. Obviously, it's gone up. The price has gone up quite a lot over the last sort of few months, as have all the cryptocurrencies. But after the workshops that I run, people often come up to me. It's their first time of learning about the industry, and yeah, more and more prominent lately is the question around what is an ICO, and have I invested in ICOs, and how should they go about doing it? And just echoing the words of Adriana there, I sort of always point people to the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper. If they can try to understand about what is a blockchain, what does an open source project look like with regards to the people that are contributing to the project, you know, how is the ecosystem built out with regards to wallet service providers, exchanges, is it got any retail traction? Look at the blockchain, how much is it being used, how many transactions are on there, what are those transactions for, are they just spam transactions? And then, you know, you start to build up a bit of a toolkit of how to look at these projects and make a bit of a value judgment about whether they are just, you know, just trying to relieve you of your money, or if they do have some potential utility or value. So like Adriana says, I always say to people, proceed with caution, do your homework, do your due diligence, check out the people that are in the team. Do they have any experience in the space? You know, who are some of the advisors? Because it's a very nuanced space, and there's, yeah, proceed with caution. So that's what I advise people to do. Proceed with caution, start with Bitcoin, don't rush into these things. And yeah, it's so easy to make a mistake with this technology because it's not very user friendly, you know. So if you, and there was that phishing attack that happened like a couple of weeks ago where someone was spamming all the Slack channels of all these different projects, putting up a MyEther wallet, like a website, fake website, and people were clicking on it, entering in their Ethereum private key, and then the hacker would then have your private key, and then he or they can then remove all of your ERC20 tokens, all your Ethereum based tokens, all your Ether, move it to another address, and that's it, it's gone. You're not getting that back. That's it. So it's not, there's not, it's not, we're not going to have a repeat of Vitalik rolling back the Ethereum blockchain so you can get your ERC20 tokens back, unfortunately. So yeah, so just proceed with caution, learn the basics first, get into this slowly, and education is key. And that's exactly what we're focused on with the blockchain centers. And we're actually going to be opening up another blockchain center in Malaysia, in collaboration with the NEM Foundation, and then also Hong Kong, Shanghai, and more centers coming up as well. So we're really focused on education. I can't drum that into people enough. Learn about the tech first, then the financial decisions can come later.
And I think that is awesome. Pound that like button, people, if you agree that education is needed first for all of the new people storming into cryptocurrency. I want to ask everyone a real quick question before we get into some more bigger issues. Real quick, Martin, what do you, once August passes, where do you see the price of Bitcoin in terms of US dollars?
Well, it's increased a lot over the last sort of what, 8-10 months really. So like for a while it was sitting around like $400, $500, for what, a couple of years almost. So it's obviously gone up four, 5 times, 6 times in the last 8 months or so. So I mean, a retracement is kind of expected when things go up really quickly. But I think it will probably, you know, if this goes through, okay, Segwit gets activated. Obviously that means there's more capacity for the network to hold more transactions. As long as there's not any security issues with the network, then I think it will stay steady. And then I think the future's bright for the price. But as always, you know, this is unexplored territory. It's experimental software. You know, only invest what you can afford to lose. But I think the future is bright for Bitcoin. Yeah, just be careful.
All right. So no exact number on your part there. Julia, what do you have a number prediction for after August once some of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt goes away?
That's my personal prediction. Okay.
What was
so
your
I think we're gonna see a dip.
I didn't hear your personal prediction. Did you say a number?
I said,
didn't hear.
So it's coming up. I said that's just really my personal opinion. So we're gonna have a dip after the 1st of August, and by the end of August, I reckon the Bitcoin will go up already to 3,000 to 3,500, and by the end of the year, I see it at around 4,500.
All right, Adriana, I'm going to ask you that question, but a follow-up to that question too is tell us some big Bitcoin stories that you want to talk about. You know, maybe what you're doing, just something that, you know, tell the world about what's going on in Australia, or just news that you don't think people outside know about, or that you want to promote. But first, tell me a price prediction.
I don't have a price prediction. To be honest, I don't care. I'm not hodling, so I think the technology itself is so valuable that is the price of Bitcoin, and it's gonna shoot up. It's gonna be out there, and I don't know how much it's gonna be at the end of the year, but to me, it doesn't make a difference. I get paid in Bitcoin. I pay my bills in Bitcoin. I'm living the Bitcoin life because I like the option. So yeah, I don't. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, that's actually awesome that you, I mean, I tell people, you know, start your own business, that's how you get your Bitcoin. That's how you acquire Bitcoin. You know, ask people to pay you in Bitcoin. It's a great way to get Bitcoin. So to clarify, you're a Bitcoin holder. You're just a long-term thinker in terms of Bitcoin.
Yes, I don't have lots of holdings. Just because I spend it. We hold our meetups at the pub. They accept Bitcoin. We're there all the time. I buy my dinner with Bitcoin when I can. So, but yes, I'm in it for the long haul. I think it's a great technology, and I'm originally from Brazil, a country where governance is a really big problem, and I see Bitcoin playing a big part in this, or a technology similar to Bitcoin. Might not be that, but that's why I'm in it. And as far as big news go in Australia, I think our meetups are growing, and we are getting to the point that maybe in the next 2 to 3 years we'll be crossing that chasm and getting the mainstream people in it. I've seen a shift in the media lately where we used to just get bad stories about Bitcoin, and now they're beginning to be a little bit more positive. We did have the Channel 7 News in Australia come to our Bitcoin meetup a couple of weeks ago, and they did a really positive piece about it. They talked about the ATMs. They talk about what Bitcoin is doing in the community, for what attracts people to it. So that was really nice. We can send you a link for that later on, and people can watch it. It was very short because it was in the 6 o'clock news, but I think that positive shift is beginning to happen, and it's a really good thing.
Yeah, please send me that link. I think people will be very interested in watching that. Martin, tell us the big news where you are. And also, I think, Martin, did you recently travel to the United States for a conference? And do you feel that there is a disconnect between the North American Bitcoin community and maybe the Australian Bitcoin community? Because I kind of feel that there's two separate worlds. I mean, the vibe I get here and even the demographics, and we're going to get into that in a second, are different. So I guess a two-part question there.
Sure. Yeah. So just on what Adriana said there about getting paid in Bitcoin, I also get paid in Bitcoin, as do other team members of Blockchain Global, and we've been getting paid in Bitcoin now for the last few years. So and then I actually tend to hold Bitcoin and then just convert what I need for spending purposes. But if I go out to a meal with restaurant with friends or what have you, then pretty much all my social circle, they all use Bitcoin, because being around me, they've obviously got an Airbits wallet, and so they'll pay the bill, maybe using their just traditional payment methods, and then I'll pay them back my share in Bitcoin. So it's a nice way for them to actually start saving Bitcoin, and they're really happy with me, really, because over the last few years the price of Bitcoin's gone up a lot, and they haven't really had to do anything, just pay for my food occasionally and stuff. So it's a win-win situation all round. So a retail place doesn't need to necessarily take Bitcoin. If your friend is happy to pay, you can pay them back in Bitcoin. So that's something that works quite well for me. So with regards to news coming up, our meetup groups, similar to what Adriana was saying there as well, is just growing exponentially. So the end of May, we had Andreas Antonopoulos here. He packed out an event space just that we have next door with over 250 people, which was great. And my Blockchain 101 last month had over 120 people turned up for it as well. At the end of this month, we've got a big event announcing the launch of a NEM Foundation exchange in Malaysia, so a partnership with the NEM Foundation. So that's going to be a massive event. We've also got the global director for IBM for Blockchain Labs, Mr. Nitin Gore. So he's a bit of a blockchain superstar. He's coming over here at the end of the month and doing a presentation here at the Blockchain Center. The Ethereum developers workshops happening as well. And we've also got a biohackers bulletproof meetup, which is growing in numbers as well. So not blockchain, but still like a great community event. So just loads of really awesome events happening. And yeah, it's a really great time to be in Melbourne and to be part of the blockchain community.
I got to say something about the biohackers real quick. I think biohacking and Bitcoin go hand in hand. It's outside the box thinkers. I want to tell all your biohacker friends that I do intermittent fasting. I do all sorts of, high fat, low carb stuff. I'm into all that stuff. So maybe we can talk. Those guys would like to hear that. There's Bitcoin guys here in the United States that are into that too. I just want to say hi to all my Bitcoin biohackers over in your office there. That one guy you pointed out also.
Yeah,
so.
Sure. So also with regards to the Consensus Conference run by CoinDesk, owned by Digital Currency Group. So let's kind of, always be aware of, the demographic of these companies, so to speak. So yeah, it was the world's biggest blockchain conference to date, right? 2,500 people. So myself and Sam Lee were representing the blockchain industry in Australia, sort of part of the Austrade delegation. So it's kind of cool that the Australian government actually had a delegation there. So we had a room of the conference, and it was an awesome event. But there was a lot of ICO projects. There was like Dan Larimer's latest project, EOS, which is kind of I think Brock Pierce has got something to do with that as well. But we went to one of these parties at this rooftop in the city, that was the EOS party, and it was a pretty lavish event. It was really good fun though. But like, I mean, I personally won't be investing into EOS, but yeah. So like, I mean, it felt a bit like an Amway conference. I don't know if any of your viewers know Amway. It's kind of like network marketing type thing. It was very, it felt like being part of a gold rush or something, and there's a lot of marketing people there, a lot of PR people, and but there was it was great to have the opportunity to meet a lot of decent people in the space as well. People like Ricardo Spagni from the Monero project, and there were some really cool people there as well. Tone Vase was there as well. So yeah, met some really cool people, and then managed to meet Tom Hunt in San Francisco. So Tom's doing great work there with the World Crypto Network and the San Francisco Bitcoin Meetup. So that was really cool. And yeah, it was great to get the opportunity to explore some of the states. And hopefully if I come back again, I can catch up with you, Adam. Yes.
If I'm in the States, I travel around the world most of the year. It seems like that, it's Bitcoin, man. It's an adventure. Julia, I want to hear your news. What's going on with you? Do you feel a disconnect with the United States and the community there at all? And I guess the other question is, in terms of demographics, there are a lot of ladies in Australia that are interested in Bitcoin. It is back in North America, it's about 95% men, the community. Here, what I've experienced in Australia, it's, I don't know what the numbers are. It seems like it's almost like 50-50. I mean, it can't be 50-50, but maybe, tell us what's going on. Tell us your news and just elaborate on what I said.
So yeah, that actually is, if you mention again, like there's so many ladies, like I just traveled in Thailand and I went to this retreat and we're like, oh, that, you know, all these people came from America and they went all the way to Thailand. So we're like, oh, that might be even like, you know, exactly the kind of people we want to work with, because they invest and they are basically looking into changes, and this is why they're joining those retreats and whatever. And we joined all these like amazing ladies there, and most of them ended up being interested in, like, started with Bitcoin and with cryptocurrencies now. So it's not only in Australia, it's also people in US. It's people who network and connect, and if they find someone who's explaining it to them in like easy words, then like it doesn't matter if it's, you know. But yeah, we have a strong female community probably in the tech space here, because there's also like a lot of like marketers and a lot of entrepreneurs in Perth or in Australia. And if you go to any event, there's always a lot of women here, and it's just Bitcoin is so much. It's getting so pushed as well from the whole network marketing industry and all of that. So there's a lot of Bitcoiners now in Perth who are originally from the network marketing industry, and who just found that, oh, it's cryptocurrencies are so much better, and or I'm gonna add that to my portfolio or whatever. So I think that's the reason why here are so many women, because network marketing is so strong. And you see this in the meetups.
Now, I want to hear, in terms of news, do you have anything you want to promote here? Anything you want to mention that hasn't been mentioned yet, actually? Because we're getting toward the end of the show here, everyone.
Okay, what do I want to promote? Well, we're gonna push more meetups, more networks in the next 3 months for the entrance level. So we're gonna host more Bitcoin basics and Bitcoin security and blockchain basics and other kind of meetups more. Bring more beginners and newbies to the level, more showing them how they can get started with mining if they wish, and just the different opportunities they have. And what I wanted to add earlier to the ICO meetups we're doing in Perth, what's maybe different is that most of the people who are joining us there are not investors. They are developers. Like, we have a lot of developers and a lot of startups here in Perth who are working on that. So our communities are more really like, yeah, a lot of people coming from the tech side and not only from the investment side.
Okay, I wanted to also.
But I don't have any like dates or something I want to promote now. Yeah, Sunday, here, tomorrow.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, mention that. That's linked to below, but please talk about that, 2 to 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Yes, exactly. 2 to 4 p.m. on Sunday, we're going to discuss 3 ICOs, and we're going to connect with a lot of developers and project managers and marketers and interesting people in the industry.
And so that's at Sunday here in Perth at Space Cubed at 45 St. George Terrace. Julia's going to be there. I'm going to be there. I want to meet everyone in the Bitcoin community in Perth and Western Australia, and I will report back to everyone on my show, because I post a new show every day about the community and what it's all about in Perth. I'm really pumped. All right, let's move on to Adriana. Adriana, when Martin mentioned Amway and you started laughing, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I just remember those times and people trying to sell that. It's just a memory. Fond memory.
And I think it is important to bring it up, because there are many scams out there, like OneCoin that do it just like that. And so people have you encountered a lot of scammers here in Australia?
Personally, I haven't. I think our meetups attract the right kind of people, I say. But yes, there's too many things out there, and we do have to be careful.
Yes, I think that's good. Adriana, do you have any conclusionary remarks here, since we're going to end the show pretty soon?
As we said before, well, I think your audience will be pretty on top of these things, and how to keep their coin safe, and how to not fall for the scams, and do their due diligence when it comes to ICOs. If you come to Australia, and if you're in Sydney, come say hello to us. We are at the Metropolitan Hotel every first Wednesday of the month during winter. During summertime, we're there every Wednesday. And we also have a blockchain professionals meetup that has more formal presentations, and we are talking about ICOs next week. And yes, come to Australia, come say hi, chill, relax.
Yeah, it's definitely relaxing. The whole vibe, the Bitcoin vibe is relaxing. I want to remind everyone that it is winter now in Australia. So when she says winter, everything's the opposite down here, but the winters, they are quite mild. I want to get links from you, obviously, so people can see. I don't have all the links yet, but to your events, they will be included in the link section below. Everyone, remember to always check out the link section below. Okay, well, we started with Martin and the tour. We're going to end with Martin here. Martin, anything you want to add, anything you want to promote, just go ahead. The floor is yours to conclude.
Nice one. Thanks, Adam. And first of all, I just want to thank the rest of the panel and yourself, Adam, for kind of making this happen. It's really cool. So thanks for the opportunity of being on today. So yeah, if people want to follow the work that the Blockchain Center is doing, then we've got a Twitter handle, which is at blockchainctr. We've also got a fun little social media campaign called The Bitcoins, which is _Bitcoins. So we've got these like little Bob and Alice Bitcoin, which we've sent out around the world. Andreas has got one, Tone Vaser's got one, Sunny Ray from Uno Coin in India has got one. So loads of people in the space have got these little Bitcoin dolls. Wilson Lee, he's a guy that's flying around the world on a Bitcoin world tour. He's got these as well. So follow the Bitcoins, the _Bitcoins, Alice and Bob on their journeys. The Blockchain Center, blockchaincenter.com.au. You can reach me at martin@blockchaincenter.com.au. That's center with an R-E, the English spelling. We're basically going to be establishing blockchain centers in more places around the world over the coming months and years. So if anyone has got an interest in wanting to be part of this journey, whether it's just hosting a meetup group or actually helping us establish a co-working space, running some education events, helping with an accelerator program or an incubator program, then just get in touch. You can get in touch via the website or email me directly, because we're looking for people to collaborate, because it's our dream is to have a blockchain center in every city around the world, and to also have a Bitcoin exchange in every country around the world as well, so people can actually have an option of holding their wealth in something other than local currency, i.e. Bitcoin. So we want to create a Bitcoin liquidity for every country in the world. That's our mission.
We need a blockchain center in Sydney, Martin.
I know you do. We're in discussions with that, and there's one coming to Perth as well with Space Cubed. Hopefully, we're having a conversation there. So and also Brisbane as well. There's a guy that's just kind of wants to set up an exchange in Brisbane and open a blockchain center there. So we're starting to create a bit of a waiting list actually. But please get in touch, and it would be great to kind of spread Bitcoin and blockchain education around the world.
Wow. Well, I want to thank my guest for coming on this. It's Saturday morning here in Australia, but back in the United States, it's Friday night. So I thank you for tuning in on a Friday night, people, and tuning in on the Saturday morning, and guests for being here on the Saturday morning. Again, we had Perth, Sydney, and Melbourne represented. I am going to be in Brisbane starting on Monday night and for 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll have a Brisbane guest on next week. This has been a very special edition of This Week in Bitcoin. I hope everyone appreciates it and loves it. I really enjoyed this unique Australian perspective. I try to bring a world perspective to my Bitcoin, to the Bitcoin shows, to This Week in Bitcoin, to all the Bitcoin shows that I do or cryptocurrency shows, whatever you want to say, that I do every day, because there's a lot of people, it's just biased toward North America and then maybe a little bit toward Europe. We don't get to hear everything. And this is a worldwide thing. We're all going to have to connect eventually in some way. So I'm very proud of this show. I'm very proud of my guests, what they're doing. I hope they can all return to this show. Just because I'll be not in Australia eventually doesn't mean they can't return to the show, because they are all great guests. They've been great guests. So pound that like button, people, if you enjoyed this show. I am Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Do check out the notes section below. Thank you very much, everyone. Good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.